freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your recap episode for this week's Genesis Invitational. Joining me to break it all down, Patrick Dry Socks McDonald is here. Hello, Patrick.
What's up, Rick? I've missed you this week. I hope you had fun out there in LA. I was reading all your stuff. It was fantastic, but we're glad to have you back.
Well, thanks for filling in for me. Thanks for covering. And I was just out there, hobnobbing, walking red carpets, stuff like that.
Of course.
Yes. Greg DuCharme is here. Hey, Greg.
What's going on, Rick? Boys, what a week. This was, Patrick, I was thinking of you watching the broadcast all day based on some of the conversations we had yesterday, because this was a classic day in a lot of regards. I can't wait to get into it.
Kyle Porter rounds out our crew for this evening. KP, good evening. How are you?
I just we haven't been away from each other very long there, Rick. We just got off HQ. Where did you write about Riv in your newsletter?
I did like some stat stuff. I then tweeted a little bit about like 15, and then they jammed me by putting up the flag and then the camera up on the scoreboard there. Yeah, no, it was a good.
Oh, yes. I did see that. I thought I missed something. I wanted some more Rick. I do want a kind of a full, like, on the ground, boots on the ground report. We don't have to be right now. We can talk about it later.
We'll talk about. I think it frames a lot around Tiger, because I think there was like a vibe change, definitely after the Tiger stuff. So we can get to that in a little bit. But absolute chaos down the stretch at Riviera. Patrick, we'll start with you because we started with a Patrick in the final group. That would be Cantlay, Xander, Schauffele, and this was just going to be which one of these two is going to win, which one of these two is going to exercise their Sunday closing demons, and which one is going to add a trophy to the mantle. That was the question.
I went to bat for Patrick Cantlay last night, Rick, in a big way. Even though Greg tried to talk me off the ledge, I was clearly had some blinders on with the name, obviously, and I mean, what a disappointing weekend if you're Patrick Cantlay, to be leading by 5 strokes, to have everything going your way, to have a chance on 17 on Saturday to push the lead out to 4. Okay, you mess up. You still have a 2-stroke lead. And then to come out here and play your first 10 holes in 1 over, you make a birdie on 11. Hey, guess what? You're still somehow tied for the lead. After all this poor play, after not birdieing the par 5 first, after battling the lefts with your 3-wood seemingly on every hole on the front 9, with 7 holes to play, you are tied for the lead, and then you just bogey. Yes, I know they're difficult holes. You bogey 13, you bogey 15, you hit 1 fairway on the back 9, you just completely lose your swing. And despite the entire week, which was a lot of good play from Patrick Cantlay, we talk about it all the time. He's a great talent, super well-rounded. I mean, what a disappointing finish, and to put you in the same category potentially as your good buddy Xander.
Even par weekend for Patrick Cantlay, Greg. It was the first 3 rounds were highlighted by that white hot putter that we have seen Patrick Cantlay get at times, and then he gave back over a stroke with the flat stick on Sunday. It would have been a lot more if he doesn't roll in that long, meaningless putt on 18 for birdie. This was slow, to say the least, out of the gate, and never really got on track.
Never did. I want to read a statistic for you. This is Patrick Cantlay entering the week round by round scoring average. Round 1 scoring average, 64.75. Pretty darn good. First on the PGA Tour. This week he shoots 64. Round 2, 69.25. Certainly respectable. 99th on tour. Betters that with 65 this week. Round 3, 70th. 70.0. 105th. That's exactly what he shot this week in round 3. 70. And round 4 scoring average, 72.67. 148th on tour. Today, round 4, It's a 72 for Patrick Cantlay. So it's been disappointing on the weekends for him really all year. Now that's and it hasn't really meant a whole lot so far, but this week it finally does. It really means something, and that came to life again.
KP, we were on HQ just a few minutes ago, and you kind of stuck up a little bit for Patrick Cantlay here. Do you want to double down on that?
I wish I didn't, but the thing that I was referencing was he's entered the final round of a Corn Ferry or a PGA Tour event in the top two, so first or second on the leaderboard. He's been in that situation 19 times, and in almost all of those, he shot par or better. And so my point was that like this is a little bit like his scoring average in those situations coming into today was 69.4, and he's gained strokes in all but 5 of them.
Pretty good.
So he's been like, I think like I don't love Cantlay. I think I've made that pretty well known. I think I don't know. There's a lot there, but I think his reputation as not being a closer, which I have perpetuated, is actually not totally fair. Now, that being said, like he was put in some situations he put himself in some situations, as Greg referenced, on the West Coast swing where he's leading after the first round. He's in the mix after the second, and he just like stalls out time after time after time. So I don't think it's a binary like, oh, well, he's a closer or he's absolutely not a closer. I think you can say like, hey, traditionally this guy's been pretty good in final rounds where he's been near the top of the leaderboard. And also he's kind of sucked in 2024 when he's been near the top of the leaderboard. I think it's kind of both of those things. And I'm curious to see like remember several years ago, this became a thing for like Dustin Johnson. Like, oh, can't close. He can't finish it off. It became a thing for Rory that one year. It was like 2018, I think. It's like, oh, Rory can't play final rounds, you know? And then it goes away once Rory won the Players, DJ won like 3 in a row. And so it eventually goes away. But I think Cantlay's kind of getting into that territory of that being more part of the conversation than maybe it has been in the past with him.
It was supposed to be a comfy pairing. Patrick Cantlay playing alongside Xander Schauffele in that final group. They both make par on number 1, a hole that you have to take advantage of. And Patrick, Xander, I'm not one of these people, sometimes, but if you're a Xander critic, this was the most Xander round you could have had, which is play the front 9 1 over, 8 pars and 1 bogey, remove yourself from contention, make birdie on 10, eagle on 11.
It's so predictable.
To get back into contention, to be back in it, and then the second you're in it, you make 3 straight bogeys from 12, 13, 14. You are now out of it. Nowhere close. This thing is decided. The eventual winner, who if you're watching on YouTube, you might have seen the thumbnail already, is zooming past you. You are donezo. And you make birdie on 15 and 17 to pad the wallet a little bit more.
This is
it was amazing.
This was the 2021. This was the 2021 Masters. This was exactly what happened at the 2021 Masters.
It is the literal
immediate
script, the literal script of Xander critics.
He gets near the lead on 16, hits it in the water. I don't know. I don't remember what he did after that at that Masters, but it was Hideki that went on to win. I mean, it just was like, oh, I've seen this before. And Zalatoris was in it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
came in second in that Masters.
Yeah,
there's a back 930 there as well.
Masters in February.
Obviously not from Xander. He would never do that, but it was. That was mean. I apologize, but it was vintage. It was potentially, his Mona Lisa, so to speak, of these type of rounds. Because like you just laid out there, Rick, he does just enough to kind of think, oh, he might have a chance here with that eagle. Josh is on the First Cut Twitter tweeting at me. The socks are drying. They're on the laundry string line outside drying. I tune in.
I think that's a clothesline, Patrick.
Okay, I was searching
He's
for
way
it.
too young to know about
I was searching for that. You could see me thinking in real time. And then his next 2 drives went maybe a combined 200 yards. I don't think that's really an exaggeration.
His longest tee shot in the next 3 holes was on the par 3. It's not true, but nearly true. He hit it 213 at 12, and he hit it 163 at 13.
Oh my!
And 195 at 14, the par 3.
And I think looking back on this round, what I will remember the most is I wish he made the putt on 18 to climb into a share of second. Just so, 1, he could obviously get a bigger payday, and 2, when we talk about this tournament next year, we could be like, we're handicapping it. Yeah, like Xander Schauffele, 22-1. He might not have won in a while, but he finished runner-up here last season, and it's obviously a great fit for him. But so, unfortunately, that talking point will be different a little bit.
That's what I was thinking about, Greg. I was thinking about 1 year from now, saying, "Oh, well, T4 last year," but it feels a lot different right now.
Well, this is the thing; it feels terrible on Sunday, but he played really well for the week. I mean, it's a high quality week, and you don't get a nickname from someone like Patrick McDonald, like wet socks, if you don't ever contend. You got to put yourself in position. It's like we've talked about this a lot with Tony Finau. Xander puts himself in the mix quite often. And so we get to see what he does, how he handles it. And he's won a lot on the PGA Tour, so he has handled it well. There have been many times where he hasn't handled it well, but his ability level is just so strong. He's so good in every area of the game, and something just completely lets him down. Maybe he lets himself down as soon as he gets in the lead. I mean, Kyle, you always say he's maybe a little allergic to the lead. And today it looked like an airborne peanut allergy to the lead. I mean, it was immediate.
Wow. That's specific.
It was like he can't be around the lead. It's not good. I could not get over those 2 tee shots. The one on 13 went directly into the trees. You don't see he is way too good for that.
It did not reach it wasn't in the fairway, but if it had been a little to the right, it would not have reached the fairway.
Right. And
one of the best players in the world.
12 was like, if there was a front pin on that fairway, on the very front edge of the fairway, it would have barely made it.
Yeah. The one on 12 would have made the fairway by like 2 yards.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
He's too good for that. So that gives a lot of fuel to the critics. A lot of fuel to the critics.
A lot of fuel.
Patrick is one. I don't know. I mean, it's the same thing is true of Xander. If you look up when he's at the top of the board going into final rounds, he actually statistically he performs pretty well. And this is where I think it's like both things, right? Because the statistics are one thing, and then you watch it and you're like, I don't know, like what? I don't really believe in this, and listen, there's 2 ways to win a tournament, right? It's either, or there's 2 ways to win a lot of tournaments. I guess I should say you either put yourself in contention a lot, or you close when you're in contention. And I think Xander is mostly the former. He just puts himself in contention a lot, and it just sort of works out, and he wins tournaments. But to watch, I think my big takeaway from both of these guys is just I'm not inspired by watching them. You watch them play and you're like, are they in contention for this tournament? Do they want to win this tournament? And obviously they do. Like I think it's annoying when people ask that question, because for sure they're professional athletes, but I just feel like the whole like too cool for school vibe from both of them. You see it at the team events sometimes, the President's Cup, the Ryder Cup. It's just like, man, just throw a fist pump, make one putt on Sunday, and then fist pump and get after it. And I don't know, you just never see that from either of them. or you don't seem to see it that often from either of them when they're in contention like that.
They both will finish T4, 13 under par, 4 shots off the eventual winning score. We will continue this conversation and discuss the actual winner of the Genesis Invitational. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
The madness doesn't just happen.
Yo, get ready!
And although it's marked on our calendars each year, it's built by moments of mayhem before.
And the crowd goes crazy!
And it begins to bubble long before it bursts. Sure, madness and March may go hand in hand, but it starts right here.
And we're back. This event, with about 7 holes to go, was 5 wide. 5 tied for the lead. It was going to be chaos. It was probably going to end in a playoff. It did really neither of those things, and we got a runaway winner. That winner, Hideki Matsuyama. And KP, I'm going to swing this the other direction, and we're going to start here with you. Because from that moment, especially when Hideki made the turn, he took over. Birdies on 10, 11, and 12. He threw darts, literal darts to inches on both 15 and 16. He added another on 17 for good measure. When you add it all up, it is a 62. It's one of the best rounds we've ever seen at Riviera. And just, we could dissect this so many ways. It was some of the best Matsuyama stuff we've ever seen.
Yeah, you know, at first I felt like Jim Nance brought up, what was it, Bridgestone or Firestone in 2017? Was that when he won it there?
Yeah.
17.
I was actually, and Shane Bacon brought up the 2021 third round of the 2021 Masters. I was actually thinking 2017 US Open at Erin Hills. Remember when he shot, what did he shoot on Sunday? 60 something nasty on Sunday to kind of backdoor. He got within 4 of Koepka. And that's, I felt like that's a little bit how it was going to go. Like he was going to get within 2 or 3 of a Zalatoris or I don't know, somebody else who was up there. And he just never backed off. I mean, he gained 8.5 strokes to the field, which we were talking about this on HQ, Rick. That's you're kind of getting into round of the year type territory there. That's not it. The round of the year will eventually, like when we're talking on December 31st, it'll be 10 strokes gained, 10.5, 9.5, something like that. But 8.5 in this situation at Riv with like the best players in the world trying to win a golf tournament, that feels like a round of the year type round. And it was awesome. And then of course he said I left a few out there, which was just the chef's kiss at the end of it all.
Sick stuff. So I've got 910 rounds of Hideki in my database. His best round ever, he gained 9.6 at the 2017 PGA round 2. He gained round 3 of the players in 2016. He gained 8.59. This one slots in there after that. And then the Bridgestone round in 2017 was 8.4. That Masters round 3 was 7.4. But yeah, this is some high end stuff. And Greg, it's his 9th PGA Tour victory. And the way that he does this, like he has this ability to hit one shot and kill you, which is like, he did it on 15. That could have been enough. He did it again on 16. He did it in the playoff at Sony. Like he's just capable of killing you with one swing.
Well, see, this is the fascinating thing about Hideki. Because this round today, he doesn't have it's easy to look at 15 and 16 and say, oh, Hideki caught fire with his irons today. But he didn't necessarily do that. I mean, the birdies at 1 and 2 come from short game, right? He chips in on 2, up and down at 1. 3 makes a long putt. 10 is an up and down. 11 is an up and down for birdie. And he makes a 50-footer at 12. So those first 6 birdies are really all coming from short game. But now he gets himself into contention. And when the moment arises, he goes to his, old faithful, reliable iron shot, which may have been a miss hit. I mean, I'm not sure if he understands what a good swing feels like, because he hit both of those inside of a foot, and it was kind of one-handed finishes on both of them. So it was the ability to step up in the moment and take the tournament once the chance was given to him. And I think that's the thing that we want so badly for a Xander and a Cantlay to do, like go and take it. And that's exactly what Hideki did today.
I mean, Rick's being a little hyperbolic there, but he also gained 2 strokes on those 2 shots, which at the end of a tournament, 2 strokes is like a ton.
Well, he won. He wins. A big deal.
Yeah.
It is a big difference also, as not everyone else is floundering, Patrick. You know, Luke List, he darts out early and starts to come back to the field. We already talked about Cantlay and Xander never really getting the momentum going. Will Zalatoris is hanging on by a thread. And while all that's happening, Hideki's just sprinting away. I mean, it was just so different where, I'm not sure he missed a shot. I don't care what he has to say. I'm not sure he got all day.
No. And I mean, to Kyle's earlier point, he kind of just sometimes does this. You look at those scores, 61 at Firestone, the back 930 out of the rain delay in the 3rd round, 62 today. At the Sony Open, when he buried Russell Henley in that playoff with the 3-wood, that was a 63-63 weekend. And you could even go back to his last top 5 finish on tour. He kind of raced to the finish line at the Players Championship last year as well.
How about first round of the Players in 2020?
Oh,
exactly.
The one that got away.
The 2020 Players Championship winner. I forgot about that one. So, I mean, you win at courses like TPC, Riv, Muirfield Village, Firestone, Augusta National, based on just like pure heaters, gasoline fueled. And I think my question for the group is his best golf as good as it gets on the PGA Tour? I think a lot of people always say when Rory's on, Rory is his best golf is the best. But I think I'd throw Hideki in that conversation too.
What's the window of time? Are you talking about for a day, a week, a month, a year?
A day, like a heater.
Like at 18 holes.
Yeah.
Like if this are mini tour events, right? 18-hole sprint. We're Monday qualified.
Yeah. Who do you trust in the Monday queue? Full on.
I think I'd throw one sort of like obvious favorite. I'd throw JT in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like just blackout, like I don't know what's happening type stuff. And then one sort of underrated guy that I think about a lot that is not obvious is Webb Simpson. Like he gets hot, like just insane. And it doesn't like he can't sustain it like a JT or a Rory can for an entire tournament. But he had, I mean, remember when he came back from COVID, or when the tour came back from COVID, and he won? What did he win? Harbour Town.
Yeah.
He had a couple rounds that I was like, oh my gosh, this is nuts.
The guys who are capable of throwing darts and putting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can gain 3 with the putter in the same day that you gain like 2.5 on approach. Those are the like Cam Young has done it, right? You know, John Rahm, obviously. Justin Thomas is a good one too, but like that ability to just go absolutely like, I'm not going to miss a putt all day and I'm going to give myself 18 looks at it.
Josh says Morikawa in the chat. He can get blazing hot with the putter upon occasion.
It feels like his is more like I just hit it to
12
feet like for 11 months in a row. Right?
Yeah. I mean, he's done it for 3 years.
I feel like Hideki hits it to like 4 inches, like 18 holes in a row.
And then he does it again 18 months later.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
Seriously.
Zooming out a little bit here, guys. So I mentioned it, nine wins on the PGA Tour. Patrick, you were kind of rattling off the places. Yeah, I think you gave him Sawgrass. I'll give him Scottsdale twice. I'll give him Augusta National. I'll give him Muirfield Village, and obviously Riviera, amongst others. This is Hall of Fame.
Ooh, it's really impressive, and you don't even add in the historic Hero World Challenge. Also, 8 wins on the Japan Tour, I believe. So worldwide, that's what, 18 victories.
Mm-hmm.
He's still 31.
He's not eligible for the Hall of Fame yet.
Got to get one more, right?
Got to get 20 wins, or I mean, if they would just give him the 2020 players, he would be eligible. But another major or a players, or 2 more professional wins would make him eligible.
Okay, so I think
is it 20?
When you talk about
20 professional wins, or 2 majors, and they include the players in that.
But he already has 18 because of the Japanese ones.
Yes,
got it. Okay, got it.
But I think when you think about Hideki, and Greg and I were kind of talking about back injuries last night with the names at the top and Tiger Woods, it's hard not to talk about health. I mean, he looks good right now for all we know, but I know he's speed training a lot, trying to add some distance to that driver. For all we know, in a couple weeks, it sucks to say, or a couple months, I mean, he could have tweaked his back for all we know. So if he stays healthy, maybe. But he'll do this in a couple years again, for sure.
He had this great quote. I think it was last year, Patrick, where he said, "Today I feel great. Tomorrow, who knows?"
Like, yeah. He kind of alluded to that in his interview with Amanda today too. The same thing.
I was gonna say something about Hideki. What did I have here in my notes?
He's only 31.
Yep.
It's crazy.
He dropped off last year, right? I think it went under the radar a little bit, maybe injury related. I don't know, but he was a pretty consistent, like 1.4 to 2 strokes gain guy, and he dropped under 1 last year, which is like still a very good golfer, but it's not Hideki level. And so I think this is a real moment for him of like, oh no, I'm still like one of the guys. I'm still like one of the top guys, you know. And we talked about this on HQ, Rick, but to do it, I mean, it's one thing to be like Cam Smith and you do it for 2 years or 18 months. To do it for 10 years and to win, you know, he's won some real tournament, like Memorial and Riv and like big time stuff. And to do it for that long at that level, I think that's extraordinary. I think a lot of guys can get hot for 18 months, not a lot, but some. I don't think there's a ton of guys out there that find the center of the club face for 10 straight years.
These are just PGA Tour wins. 1 in 2014, 2 in 2016, 2 in 17, 2 in 21, 1 in 22, and now 1 in 2024 for Hideki Matsuyama. 2 guys tied for second, Luke List, Will Zalatoris. Let's focus on Will first here, Patrick. He made that return at the Hero, was miserable. We saw him play a couple times since then. He's rounding back into form. KP and I were on HQ today, or I think it was earlier today, and we were trying to figure out whether this was a surprising finish. At the very least, he is ahead of schedule, if not a surprising finish.
I'd agree with that. And I'm someone who was probably more pessimistic than the rest of the group regarding Will Zalatoris and his back injury. And he's certainly made me fall on my sword this week and at Torrey Pines. And it's just a reminder, you get him on one of these more difficult tests, major caliber-esque golf courses, and his game's just freaking tailor-made for it. And you look at the broomstick, obviously, it looks a lot better than his old stroke, very smooth down the line on some of those camera shots on CBS that everyone was watching the event on, Company Man. And it's a lot to like for Will Zalatoris and Will Zalatoris fans. And Rick, I was giving you the hat tip earlier, reading your stuff. On the back 9, you know what got him? The bunker on 15.
I know. And did you hear? It was halfway there, and he was like, not again. He knows it. It's dead zone over there.
He said, every time, buddy.
Every time, buddy. Love that.
Yeah, I literally thought of you right away. But like you said, ahead of schedule. I still think I'm still a little surprised, I would say, that it has come this early. But you're going to get him trending into the meat of the schedule, into hard courses like Bay Hill, like the major championships. And, I mean, seems like he's on track to contend in those bad boys.
Greg, do you know how many majors Will Zalatoris has played?
10?
9. Is it 10?
I think it's IFC 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I think 10. And he has what, like 8 top 10s?
6 top 10s.
6 top 10s and 5 top 2s, 5 top 3s.
3 top 2s.
Okay, I'm just guessing at this point.
It's also very good.
I looked at this a long time ago. It's phenomenal. It's a great wiki page.
Yeah, I mean it's nuts. I think the difference actually, so it might be 9 as a professional. 28.
I think that's right.
Open, he missed the cut. I will check that, but I think that's the difference between 9 and 10 that we're looking at here.
Yeah, I just wrote something on him for I'm doing Masters preview stuff. Patrick. I'm getting ahead of the game.
Wow. Okay. I'm very behind on the game.
And I had 9 in my head, but Patrick said it like this is sick. That is sick stuff. And I think the trajectory coming into this week was good, right? He misses the cut at Sony, gets a little better at American Express, a little better at Torrey. But I don't think I expected him to contend. I don't know about you, Greg, but I was surprised that when he kind of got into the mix this weekend.
I was not. I talked to Patrick about this yesterday. Not at all. I watched him play a lot at the American Express. I watched his opening round. He was playing with Daniel Berger. I watched the whole thing and was like, this guy's he's fine. His golf swing is back. Now, I didn't know if like he'd be able to put it together, but I was no longer worried about the injury after the American Express. And then he goes to Farmers. Now, this is a golf course that's built for him. American Express is a terrible tournament for Will Zalatoris, right? T34 is a fine finish there in his best year. You go to Farmers, now this is where Will Zalatoris can shine. And he put together some vintage rounds. And I'm like, okay, well, that putting stroke is a whole lot better. The driving distance, it looked like he was losing a lot. He's not really losing a lot. And the iron play looks like it did last year. So it kind of seemed like all the pieces were checked together. And that's exactly what we saw this week. I mean, his strategy that he employs is so smart. It's so wise. He's smart. He's patient. He's aggressive when he needs to be. He's conservative when he shouldn't be. He has a great short game. I mean, the bunker shot he hit at 14, it was delicious. It was so good.
Chip on 10 too.
Chip on 10. It so good. And that was a big miss. Could have been a huge momentum swing.
The one on 14,
the one on 10.
Bunker out to the left, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was a disappointing shot in there.
Oh, it was it looked like it looked like me. It looked like he pull hooked it in that bunker. But
yeah.
Greg, I don't want to put you on the spot, but golf swing wise, does it look like he's trying to replicate what he used to do, or is he back? I mean, I saw 11. I think he had like 175 ball speed off the tee, but pretty easy. Like it wasn't crazy. I don't know.
Right. Couple things. He's made a little adjustment in his feet. He's flared his feet a little more, which lets your hips rotate a little more. Something Jason Day has done too.
Does that free up your back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of stress on the back comes when the hips and the shoulders turn. When there's a lot of separation. But the other thing is the side bend, and he still has some side bend in his swing, but he's working on eliminating that a little bit. So a little like he's doing this drill with his putting a towel under his right arm to keep his arm plane a little lower in the backswing, and then working his arms over the top a little bit more, where he used to get his right shoulder really close to his right hip in the downswing. He's trying to soften that. It's still there. But it seems a whole lot better. And whatever these little adjustments, these little changes that he's made, haven't affected his performance. Like he's got it, which is just, it's a sign of an extremely talented player.
The Neiman, the side bend, I think it was called the Neiman.
Yeah, exactly. Will Zalatoris and Joaquin Neiman, probably the two greatest amount of side bends I've ever seen out of a tour player.
Neiman's spine is like, bro, like what's going on there?
How do you do that?
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Let's hit a couple of quick hitters here. Patrick, what if I told you a golfer, any golfer, had the worst putting week of anybody who made the cut, lost strokes on approach for the first time in 18 months, but still finished T10? What would your thoughts be on that?
Who could this be? This is a real tough one, a brain buster here, Rick. I would say that's probably par for the course for said golfer, minus the approach play.
That golfer, Scotty Scheffler, 68, 70, 70, 68. To no one's surprise, I don't know. I lost years of my life watching Scotty Scheffler putt this week because Kyle and I had him in one.
Yeah, it was not good.
It's worse in person. Don't.
Okay. Well, tell me that, because so you see Zalatoris on TV and it's like, not this week, but normally it's like the figure eight thing. You're like, oh my gosh, like, what is that? With Scheffler, is it the way it comes off the face? Is it his hands? Like, what is it in person?
Not even that. I think that I saw he hits a lot of what I think are good putts. If he does hit a bad putt, I think he kind of almost like draws it or hooks it a little bit. But it's the clear frustration.
Mm-hmm.
And he is expecting to lip everything out.
Yeah.
And it is sticking with him for a long time. And we talk a lot about how he's able to separate these two parts of his game. I'm not sure he's able to do that as frequently anymore, but it's because, they cut away on TV. And when you just watch, I mean, he would walk up to the next tee box and he'd still be looking back at the green, like routinely. And I'm like, oh man, he's ready to explode. I don't blame him, but he is ready to explode.
It's almost like when, when guys are on a long par 3, or sometimes even with driver, Rory does this a lot, and he's trying to like bend the opposite way of where the ball is, or he's trying to like bend the ball back. Scotty does that on putts.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like, you can see him like moving his head and his body, and you're like, oh, doesn't really know like where it's going, and that's all relative, right? Like obviously he knows where it's going, but in terms of precision, did you hear Rory say you should go to the mallet?
Mm-hmm.
I would take it even a step farther.
Broom, baby.
Broomstick.
What?
Bring on the lab.
He'd be like VJ.
That
good career.
He should do. The issue with him is he doesn't think he's going to make it.
For sure.
Clearly.
He is marking his ball, and I'm like, there's no chance he's going to make this, and I know he knows that too.
Now, most great ball strikers struggle with putting. At least there are moments of frustration because you hit so many greens and you have so many looks at birdie, and there are very few legendary putters who are great ball strikers. It's like kind of Tiger Woods, kind of stops there. Now I'm talking legendary. But when you don't think you're going to make it, he needs to go follow the Lucas Glover path. I know he doesn't have the yips, but there's a mental issue that can be solved by completely reinventing the wheel. And the good thing is it's not going to get any worse.
Mm-hmm.
It literally can't.
So if you try it for a week, 2 weeks, not at the Masters, do it at Bay Hill, right? You could catch 5. How many times have we seen this? Like guys go to a different method, a completely different method of putting, whether it's the claw grip, a blade to mallet, an arm lock, or the broomstick, and all of a sudden there's like lightning in a bottle for a period of time. He can do that tomorrow.
You know what I think broke him was the 4-putt to win the Masters.
I know he might have sold his soul with
What?
that 4-putt.
I
I
think
hadn't thought about that.
I think it takes a certain, like Rory was almost like, the way he was talking about it was almost like, yeah, at some, like, this is not what he said, but it almost felt like he was saying at some point I just had to like swallow my pride and use a mallet putter, right? And I think Scotty's still so young that he's like so confident that well, I don't know if he's still so confident, but he's been confident that he'll figure it out. And I don't know. I mean, maybe he will, but man, he's just, I don't want him to waste all these. The ball striking's it's a joke. And we're still talking, like they were talking on the broadcast, like the way that Jim Nantz was talking about Scotty Scheffler was as if it was like Daniel Berger. You're like, well, we might not see him for like he's just like out. And it's like he finished T10. He finished in the top 10
Again.
Yeah.
I need something different, even if it's as small as going left-hand low, because like Greg said, that helps you mentally. I know.
Left-handed.
That's dramatic. Left-handed would be great.
The table. That is on the table as well.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I prefer to keep that as a last resort, but
Josh,
I'm fine with it.
Josh asked in the chat, Patrick. I think this is a good question. Do you think that Scotty has tried the broomstick in private?
1,000%. It's like Shooter McGavin.
Yeah.
Trying the Happy Gilmore in the woods.
In the woods.
That's what Scotty Scheffler is doing with the broomstick in his backyard. But I'm afraid we might look back at these 2 years of Scotty Scheffler, maybe 3 if it persists, as like a what if in golf. Like, what if Scotty Scheffler could putt, right? What if DJ didn't fall down the stairs? Something like that when it comes to his ball striking and his putting.
What if Danny Willett's baby wasn't born early?
What if?
2 things. One, Scheffler plays with Zalatoris here in Dallas, so he's for sure tried his broomstick. And 2, I don't remember this, Greg, but did VJ ever not use the long putter?
He used a belly putter. He used a broomstick. Was he ever conventional? I mean, I started really following golf in like 2006, 2007. So whatever VJ was doing, like, winning Masters and stuff before that, I don't know exactly.
I'm gonna get on Getty while we take a break and look up the oldest VJ Singh photos I can find.
And also, didn't he putt with his glove on?
He did all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he did a
He
lot.
chipped cross-handed.
All right. We're going to update the best bets, update the one and done. We're going to continue this conversation. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
We need your sports news anywhere.
We've got breaking news to bring you.
Then get your sports anytime you want them. Big trade news overnight to discuss.
Because we know you need sports all the time.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
A legend adds to their legacy.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, anywhere, anytime, all the time.
And we're back. While Kyle looks up the oldest Getty photo that he can find of VJ Singh, I'll give you the on-site report. Couple of things stood out to me. I love Riviera. It was, I'm stunned at what good shape it was in. Because you could tell areas around the golf course or just out of like the ropes or the playing area were like decimated with those storms that they got. Yet the golf course was in like perfect condition, which is awesome. And the other thing, Patrick, is, they announced like a sold out Saturday. It didn't necessarily feel like that, because I think there was a lot of people who were expecting to see Tiger there and might not have shown up. It did not feel like a juicy Riviera Saturday with Tiger there.
for as small as the cut was, they got hit with a lot of punches. I mean, Tiger Woods, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, all out of this tournament in 3 different ways. You could throw in Wyndham Clark, who's been playing well, Matt Fitzpatrick as well. And a lot of big names weren't around for the weekend. And I feel like you could even notice it on the broadcast that some wind was taken out of the sails going into the final 36.
It also, Greg, is a huge contrast from Phoenix, obviously, but it takes a lot to get Riviera fans like in a lather, right? I mean, I saw guys. Scotty Scheffler on 9 on Saturday hit one to like 5.5 feet and got a nice, quiet
West Coast crowds.
I was like, that was better than that. Like, let's give him a little something here. So it takes a lot to get them all juiced up.
Yeah, it's interesting because when it's calm and quiet like that, what stood out to me about the crowds this week was all of the like one-liner yelling. It was all over the place. Like somebody was saying like light the lamp or something. Constant. Every shot, I feel like you could hear someone yelling some mashed potatoes type thing.
So,
but it stands out because there's no other crowd noise.
As we're heading into, election season, my platform, I'll run on the platform of if you yell out something like that at a golf tournament, you're instant Guantanamo. I can't deal with you.
Jail.
Should not
Wow.
be in society anymore.
You get my vote.
Yell at a golf tournament, straight to jail.
The only thing. It's my only platform. I think it'll work.
Yeah, I think it was this week was a little bit emblematic of the West Coast swing was just not it wasn't a win for the PGA Tour. And I think that the last couple West Coast swings have rocked. They've been awesome. You've got just all kinds of you had Spieth on the cliff at Pebble, you had Homa winning. You just had a lot of Rahm winning a bunch last year. You had a lot of awesome stuff. And this year was, it's crazy, Rick. Hideki was the shortest winner, 60-1.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't that wild?
And also, so all of that, I think you're spot on with. There weren't a lot of great moments. There was no big stars winning it. And also half of them didn't even have the defending champ in the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which already, so I agree. It was I love the West Coast swing. I try to go to as many as I can, but it was a tough run out for the tour.
Yeah. And
Terrible weather also.
Terrible weather.
It didn't help. I think that I wrote about this in the Normal Sport newsletter on Friday. I think Liv had a better first, whatever this is, 6 weeks than the PGA Tour. And part of that is because Liv took a lot of the PGA Tour's players, but that's just, I don't know how else to say that. That's just the reality of the situation.
Josh, do you have the VJ photos? What are we working with here? Okay.
Oh,
okay.
Conventional.
What year are these? Do we know?
They're 93, 94. Patrick would wear those pants, by the way.
I think I'm into those.
Yeah.
He looks like a McDonald's worker.
Tiger on the top, right?
Yeah.
Black
The red.
And then yellow pants.
It might be navy.
Oh, it could be navy. I think you're right.
It's kind of sick, though.
It's not bad. And I think what is that? A hickory shaft in the?
It might be. Yeah, I think it was 93. I found some just bangers in there. Just some awesome stuff.
So there are some VJ conventional putting photos. Of course, he's got the glove on in both of them, but it did exist. It was not only the long putter.
Yeah, but I think it pretty quickly went to the long putter because I think he started winning majors in 99, and I'm pretty sure those were all long putter wins.
Scotty's got to follow.
Oh,
He is VJ. He's VJ Singh too.
He might be
Better short game.
Yeah.
Than VJ. He's a better chipper. He chipped in at least 3 times this week.
Yeah.
His short game is
It's so
it's
good.
So good.
Oh God, it's
He's got to miss more greens.
yes. I every time I was having a panic attack every time he would hit it to 5. He leaves himself with 5 or 6 feet constantly.
Yeah. So it feels like every hole. I mean, I've kind of got the golf on and I'm writing and doing other stuff. And every time I look up, I'm like, oh, Scotty's got another 7-footer. Like every
For
hole.
birdie.
It just
Scotty Scheffler for birdie. Scotty Scheffler for
and then
birdie.
he never makes any of them. And then one or two of them, he's going to 3-putt.
Yeah.
But he's still 5 under.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make sense.
It's a good transition to our bets.
Correct. Our bets. So Tuesday's show, we got Patrick, we got Kyle, we got Mark with the wagers. Oh my gosh. Mark had himself a week. Patrick Cantlay over Victor Hovland and Christian Bezuidenhout top 30 cash both of those. KP Nikolai Højgaard over Keegan Bradley. Nikolai finished T39. Keegan
Missed the cut.
The cut. So that was not even a weekend sweat.
Yeah. That felt great. I felt good about that. I'm sorry about the finishing position for Keegan there, Patrick, but my finishing position was a tough one to take.
That was Jordan Spieth top 20, which he was T20 when he got DQ'd.
And I got paid back for it with the my best bet. We'll get to in a second. I got a gift there, but yeah, this one was. I mean, I'm sure you guys talked about it on the pod, but what an insane sport! Like you can't add numbers, so you can't play the weekend. And
that day to be a Texas
terrible.
long.
We talked about this, Rick. Spieth's one bogey 66 on Thursday. You're like, well, that's too straightforward.
Correct. Right. Right. And it sure was.
And at first, yes.
Well, I found out. I didn't know he was DQ. I found out live on HQ, and they just like jumped it on me. And I didn't know. I hadn't seen it yet. And I was, and they were like, Jordan Spieth disqualified for signing an incorrect scorecard. Rick, your take? And I'm like, I don't know. Actually, I think I just spouted off. Wasn't he the one who had to write all the scores in after the round?
Yeah.
He wasn't keeping score at all.
It was when he was playing with Homa. This was, I think it was March or April of last year. And he was like, yeah, I had some time on the 18th tee, so I wrote in all of our scores. And I was like, this psycho keeps score like he plays.
Okay. So I was like, not surprised. He's got some scoring issues. Like he's a madman. I don't trust him.
Boy, that's sociopathic stuff.
Patrick, a lot of red here, bud.
That's right.
Every time, buddy.
Actually, every time. Buddy.
Whoa, Greg.
That's a Will Zalatoris reference.
So hold on. Colin Morikawa did make a run for you. He played well on Sunday. He finished T19. You just lost to Max Homa, who finished T16. That was only one shot.
It was just this is what happens when you put me in the host chair, Rick. I have a lot of moving parts. I'm thinking a lot. We go back to the fall when I was humming. I didn't have to deal with one and done. Just too many hands and too many different pots, and I'm suffering as a consequence.
All right. Well, I don't have any travel scheduled for a while, so we'll get you back on track on Tuesdays. Okay.
Yeah.
The best bets. Patrick's positively parlay with Scotty Scheffler and Justin Thomas top 20s. Scotty did his job. JT is the JT Tiger thing like a real thing? Like he's enamored with watching Tiger can't play himself.
I feel like he always plays well with Tiger. Does he not?
I don't know.
I don't think he does.
I don't know.
It doesn't feel like it.
I just know what Twitter says.
Okay. Then it's got to be true.
Exactly. KP, how did you cashed Adam Scott top 20? What was the gift?
Birdie finish. I think he either
he chipped in.
He either
made
putted
it
off the green or
yeah.
He chipped in on 18, I think.
yeah, and it was like long and just I had to have the 4-3 finish, and he gave it to me. How am I still in the red here? Are we adding these correctly?
I think this includes the next few weeks as like our $50 bets already in. So they're just
It's
losses.
through May.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. I'm not. I don't want to. I see. Here's what happens if you start asking questions, then you're gonna have to be the one who like tracks it all. So I don't want to be involved. It like looks good to me. Josh has got it all. You've lost 3 straight best bets. He says.
Yeah, but I was up. I was up more than.
But hold on. This is only best bets, isn't it?
Yeah.
Josh,
Yeah.
what's the actual?
Ooh, I don't know if we need to do that.
Yeah. Do we have like the overall?
Oh, this is all of them.
Yeah. I thought that's what you wanted.
That's not good.
Rick is filling it up. The West Coast swing has been good to him.
Yeah, I grew up on bent grass, so once we move over here, Bermuda is going to be tough for me with the lies and whatnot. But
once you figure out Kikuya and Poa, you can do anything. So we'll see how I do when we get to other parts of.
Yeah, who asked for all the bets? I didn't ask for this.
Yeah, that was me. I thought it was going to help you. It didn't. We'll stick with the best bets. What will help you though, KP, is us recapping the one and done. So
yes,
technically, so this week there was a ton of money on the line. There was $4 million to first place. Now, I also have a question for Josh about this. Josh and Patrick both took Justin Thomas, and they have awarded themselves $44,200 for a miscut. Is that's the official money for a miscut? $44,200.
do not throw myself in this. I have not awarded myself anything. I will be willing to take that off in the essence of the game, if need be.
Josh is saying, according to Run Your Pool, which I guess they're using the official money.
Where's the Bible?
I guess
we got to go with the rules. It's like signing your scorecard. You know, it doesn't make any sense, but you still got to play by the rules.
Did Spieth get paid this week?
Check Run Your Pool.
yeah, exactly.
The only source of who got paid this week, runyourpool.com. So Patrick and Josh both had Justin Thomas, $44,200. Greg and Mark had 2 different golfers, but got the same amount. Adam Scott for you, Greg. Mark had Colin Morikawa, $242,400. So that Adam Scott birdie finish moved you up a couple points.
Yeah, which is nice. The middle 2 rounds were really good for him. And I thought I needed a 4-under round today. I thought I was going to get it. You know, we'd get a T8 or something like that. Didn't happen. So I took the chance. But all in all, looking back, the options who I was kind of choosing between, like Scotty Scheffler was definitely an option for me this week. And I feel like even though I got less dollars, I feel like it's a win. Not playing, saving Scotty, going with Adam Scott and getting the top 20.
Cool, Greg. Okay, well, Kyle and I did use Scotty Scheffler this week.
That was my segue.
We technically won the week.
We did not.
333. He got a T10 in like the biggest event of the year. Why does this feel so bad?
How much was it?
430, 440.
It's like his worst finish since the Tour Championship?
This event since
St. Jude, maybe?
T31 in Memphis.
But we could have played Justin Thomas this week.
Would have been a disaster.
I think I already played JT. I played him last week.
44,000.
I'm running out. I'm gonna be just living on live guys at the majors.
I think that's the right play.
Yeah,
for sure it is. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what 400,000 used to mean something.
It used to, it used to be if you were getting like $200,000 a week, you'd win.
Yeah, and that's not true anymore.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, look at where we are compared to everybody else in the pool. I mean, we're down millions.
compared to Big Boy. So
I'm
Josh
Patrick's
is
burner, big boy.
1.9. What?
Patrick's burner, big boy.
Josh is at 1.9. I'm at 1.7. Kyle's at 1.6. Greg's at 1.3. Patrick's at 900,000. And Mark is still in the basement at 882,000, which should make everybody happy. The 5 leading the overall, the Big Boy team, 5 million. Who did the Big Boy team have this week?
I need a big boy.
Because the Big Boy wasn't the Big Boy at like 5 million last week. So he didn't really get to
Maybe
extend.
he had JT also.
Okay, Boomer's at 4.5. Pat Sullivan 18, 4.5. You're obviously not a golfer, 4 million. And Grunt at 3.8.
Whew.
Now that's a top 5 right there.
Yeah, fire early.
Yeah.
No, this is not updated, right? These were all the top 5 last week.
I think you're right.
Oh, Josh is yeah. He's trying to signal to me that these are not updated.
Sorry, big boy.
They all took Justin Thomas.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew something was off there. I just didn't know what and didn't read the note that he left me. Okay.
I wonder how many people had Hideki in our group.
You know,
Nobody.
wow.
Wow.
Let's go.
Good.
You ever get logged out of something and then you can't like? Now I got logged out of Run Your Pool and now I don't know how I'm ever gonna get back in.
Multiple emails.
Do you not have a password
I do.
thing?
What do you use?
LastPass.
Yeah,
I
me
feel like I'm scared to say that out loud.
Me too. Did you see they got hacked? I wasn't gonna say it unless you said it.
Great.
Yeah.
Big boy's still in second, by the way.
All right. Okay. Boomer has taken the lead, 5.4 million. The Big Boy, Pat Sullivan, 18, Ann has jumped up to 4th, and wine lover Johan rounds out our top 5.
No, that's Immelman. That's Mark Immelman's dad.
Really?
Wow.
We're being infiltrated.
Wow.
by
There
Immelman.
might be some insider trading there with his other son, perhaps.
Well, it might be his dad. His dad's name is Johan, and he likes wine. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
We are being in these Immelmans. We cannot shake them.
Yeah, correct.
Oh my god. They're coming at us from all angles.
Yeah, nobody had Hideki. So the most that anybody got was 1.8 million. There was only 4 people with Will Zalatoris, a ton of Patrick Cantlays.
Hideki would have been hard to.
Yeah,
I think
no chance.
Zalatoris would have been a
Hard
tough
to
pick.
peg. Yeah.
Would have been risky.
It was huge that for us that Cantlay did not win this.
Yeah, it looks like it.
If
That
all
is
of those
just
people-
about everyone.
If all of those people got 4 million,
Oh, that's my boy,
we
B.
did.
Antis.
we'd be cooked. Who's your boy?
He's in 5th.
Big boy.
No, not big boy, not big boy. B. Antis. He'll get a shout out. He's on the rise.
trending in the right direction. Any final thoughts on this week? We are going to Mexico next week, and the field is full. I didn't want to say if it was good or bad or not.
That is factual.
It's full. The Tiger stuff, I'm just like, I don't know. I cannot do the like. You here to win, Tiger? You gonna win this week?
Oh my gosh.
I can't do it.
Does he really believe it?
Well,
I don't even care. Like I don't want to like be involved. Like I don't want to be involved with it. I don't want to have anything to do with it.
It reminds me of like a kid in class reminding the teacher that there was homework. It's just like these guys racing to the mic to get the first question out, to get that quote out of him every single time he plays. I'm here for a dub.
It's I don't know. Like the 2019 thing, it was like, yeah, he was playing like twice a month. He was playing a lot. We are not in 2019 anymore. We're not even close to it. Like he's not going to win a major championship. He's not going to win a PGA Tour event. Those are things that are not going to happen. And yet we're acting like, I mean, his last 6 starts, Rick, 4 of them have been with WDs or missed cuts. Like he's not even like playing the weekend, much less contending.
You're preaching. I agree with you. And it's a lot. And I don't really notice it. I noticed it a lot this week because I was there on Tuesday, and it is a circus when Tiger is playing. And it is a circus that just doesn't end well, or hasn't ended well a lot for a long period. And it's not just like the last 4 starts over the last, which has been the last 4 weeks. It's been over a year.
4 years.
So it's just what's the last good outcome we got?
It's been downhill since the opening round of the 22 Masters.
Remember when he hit his first approach at the Open into the berm?
Yeah. Berm.
I thought it was burn.
Burn.
No, it is burn.
We did this last time. So I don't know what it is.
I still don't know if it's plotted or plotted.
Plotted or plotted?
Double D.
I think it's plod with a D.
But I would think you plot your way around, like you're plotting your course.
Well, I think if you're plotting, that's 2-dimensional. But if you are physically plotting in 3D,
you're
So that's a
grinding,
dimensional issue?
you're grinding your way through the course.
It's like a reality issue.
I think plotting with double D are like heavy steps. And then plotting double T is what you just mentioned, Kyle.
Yeah, I thought it was plotting double T, like you're making your way around the course.
Like you're being strategic, right?
Yes. Like Scotty Scheffler plots his way around the course.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
But but I'm saying, like, I don't know which one it actually is.
Yeah, if you just say it fast enough, then nobody can tell.
That's what I do. Just plotting your way around.
You just don't write it.
You just never type it.
No.
The Tiger stuff's tough.
Yeah, and it sucks for him. Like I think there's some sadness in it of like he has to feel like it's the circuit. And it's always been like that, but he's always at least competed and won, right?
Yeah, he's swallowed the fire. He's put his head in the lion's mouth and come out unscathed. Like it's been a circus, but he has done the performances.
Yeah, and now it's just like, it's like the bearded lady.
Now he throws the knives at somebody and hits him right in the head.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wanted to throw that in there.
Okay. Going once, going twice. The NBA All-Star game is about to tip off. So
let's go.
Can't wait.
Is it East versus West, or is it like Team LeBron versus Team Giannis? I don't know. Okay.
I don't know.
Who's that one for?
We'll be back. Anyone. We'll be back Monday, DFS preview, Tuesday, mega preview pod, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Big thanks to producer Josh, who does all the hard work behind the scenes. Patrick, McDonald, at P McDonald CBS. Greg, DuCharme, at The Real GFD. Kyle Porter, at Kyle Porter CBS. And you can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.